Welcome to the Daily Market Recap, a detailed review of the market structure and the key support and resistance levels in the S&P 500 E-mini. Today is Monday, December 2nd, 2013. At the end of the shortened holiday week, S&P futures traded modestly above the previous high at or near 1809 and extended the trading range up to 1812. There was a lack of buying interest at Friday's high, and the S&P sold back down into the trading range at Friday's close. During Sunday's Globex session, the S&P attempted to auction back up to the high and traded up at or near 1807. At today's open, the S&P sold down from the overnight high in search of support. Selling pressure paused at the 1801 price level. The market held support at or near Thursday's low and auctioned back up at or near the high, trading up to 1809. Once again, the S&P encountered selling pressure at the high and sold back down through the trading range, auctioning below the opening range low at 1801 and trading down to what had been minor support at or near 1798. Price discovery breached support modestly, but the S&P auctioned back up off the low and ended the session above 1800. For a detailed look at Monday's market developments, we'll turn our analysis to the volume at price data. During the formation of the overnight high, volume was typically below average. The selling pressure that auctioned the S&P down to the low at or near 1801 encountered responsive buying, and the S&P auctioned back up to the high on statistical high volume. As noted earlier, a fractal high developed. The market did not auction all the way back up to Friday's high at 1812, and the selling pressure returned late in the day. When the S&P pulled back to where support had been earlier in the session, previous buyers covered their long positions, and as the S&P traded down below 1804, the selling pressure accelerated. As price discovery retested what had been minor support and extended the range modestly lower, the selling pressure backed off. There was statistical high volume responsive buying at the low, and price auctioned up off the low and ended the session above 1800. As a result of Friday's sell-off, the Follow the Bots polynomial regression study has turned down. Monday's high occurred at the upper edge of the polynomial regression band, and Monday's low touched the lower edge of the band as well. During the recent consolidation, the order flow monitor has detected that during the pullbacks at or near the 1798 level, the computerized sell programs have ceased executing to the sell side. That was also the case today when the S&P traded modestly below 1798. Similarly, the order flow monitor has detected that the computerized buy programs have waned as the S&P has auctioned up to the high. There was no particular indication at today's high of buy programs waning. The market paused for a relatively long time and trade activity as measured by the rate of change, the amount of volume per trade, and the number of trades was statistically below average. Since breaking out above the prior multi-year high at 1800, the S&P 500 has been consolidating at the high. Historical analysis indicates the market has two primary states or phases. A directional move, which can be higher or lower, is a vertical price structure, as exhibited here when the S&P auctioned up off of the 1792 price level. Consolidation takes on the form of horizontal price development, where the market auctions within a definable trading range. Coming into Tuesday's session, today's low, at or near what had been minor support, remains the key reference point. Selling pressure below today's low could easily result in the S&P pulling back to what had been minor resistance down at the 1792 level. Accelerated selling pressure could see the S&P pull back down to 1781. In the event that today's low continues to provide support, we would expect to see the S&P auction back up and retest today's high and or Friday's high at 1812. Initiated buying could extend the current trading range up to the maximum likelihood expectation target located at 1820. That concludes our market recap of the S&P 500 E-mini. If you would like to follow our real-time commentary, we invite you to visit us online at www.followthebots.com. Log on and join us some morning at the open.